Well, welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, and we have some big things to talk about when it comes to Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. So if you've been to the official Pokemon website recently, you might have noticed this. Let's go for a test run, and that's an article talking about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. But the weird thing is, it's not on the Let's Go site. This is just Pokemon.com. However, it does have some exclusive information that not a lot of people know about that could suggest some pretty big features for the game as well. So that's what we're going to go and break down. So Let's Go for a test run is pretty much just like if a kid stumbles into Pokemon.com and doesn't really know too much about Let's Go, to kind of get everyone up to speed, or at least just have like some article in another place fishing for attention so that way more eyes are on Pokemon Let's Go. But there are some pretty cool things to talk about. So let's talk about the berries inside the game and how it changes with Pokemon Go, kind of showing a bit more of how dynamic this game can be. So we have Raz, Nana, Pineapple berries all return from Pokemon Go, making the catching process easier and more rewarding. During our play session, the most valuable berry proved to be the humble Nana berry, which came as a surprise. The brightly colored berry calms down Pokemon that eat it, which often isn't the best effect available in Pokemon Go, but it makes a larger difference against some of the more unruly wild Pokemon lurking around Kanto. Which is actually something I've noticed from like the E3 gameplay or just like random trailers and stuff. Some of those Pokemon, they jump around and they are way more active than what you encounter in Pokemon Go. But also from some of the other gameplay, you might notice at your bottom right there, there's a lot of berries. So this is an interaction with your Eevee or your Pikachu, and you can see there's a lot of things to feed your Pokemon at the bottom, and there's even like a way to select more. So what that suggests is there's going to be tons of items that you can use, and some of those are also going to be catching effect or in encounter effect items, such as the berries that we see in Pokemon Go, and maybe some extra stuff. So I feel like the optimization and customization with the items that are going to be available inside of Pokemon Let's Go are really going to change things up. So Nat Berry gets a bit more effectiveness. I feel like candies are going to be incredibly powerful for getting competitive Pokemon, so having access to the Pineapple Berry is going to be pretty good, and then the Golden Raspberry for catching those rare Pokemon. And also, I wonder if this means that we're finally going to get the transition into some of the Datamine berries, because we have the Weeper and the Bluckberry. They have effects inside of Pokemon, or they have like rumored effects inside of Pokemon Go because there is game data for them, despite them not being released. And with all the available slots and all the expansion that we have in Let's Go, maybe those will become available. Now, another cool thing is like we've actually seen how easy or how you can obtain these items through various amounts of gameplay. That for the E3 demo, catch a Pokemon, level 6 Pikachu turns into a Pineapple Berry. So you beat trainers, you get Pokeballs, you catch Pokemon, you get berries. You can really just kind of snowball your experience into getting better catches, easier catches, or more rewarding catches. I think that's pretty cool, and it kind of goes into the next point. In addition to training your Pokemon by raising their level, you can also help them develop, or you can help develop them by feeding candies. There's a variety of candies that'll enhance each stat, so it's important to feed them to your favorite Pokemon. But now we start stumbling into the exclusive information, which I find strange that's not on the Pokemon Let's Go website. You'll sometimes get candies by catching wild Pokemon, and you can score bigger chunks of it by transferring many Pokemon of the same species to Professor Oak. So I didn't know you could get candies by just catching the wild Pokemon. I thought you had to send it away. So if you're actually catching Pokemon, you get lucky and get some candies, that's going to be more stats, that's going to be easier training right there, but also sending the same species to Professor Oak. That's pretty significant because if you just dump, like if you go for a combo, and then that brings us to the catch combo, which kind of snowballs into all this other stuff. There's a chance you can get candy from a Pokemon, while going into the catch combo to get multiple species of Pokemon, that's probably going to enhance the effect or just kind of stack with what you're already doing, and then sending multiples of that same species, giving you even more candies, is also going to be pretty crazy. Problem is, that information hasn't become officially available. The first time I heard about Catch Combo was when Cerebi got their 2-hour gameplay demo of Pokemon Let's Go, and it was like a little blurb. So it's got like, yeah, the Catch Combo is a thing, catch Pokemon in a row, you get rewards, we don't know as much as we should about it. You know, if it enhances shiny odds, what the real rewards are, it just kind of looks like you can get stronger Pokemon, but it seems like there's a bit more to that. So Junichi Masuda in a recent interview as well. So not official sources, kind of mixing it in with these not Let's Go website materials either. So you know those kinds of fans, we'd mentioned the catch combo. This is in response to a veteran player's question, because a lot of people are upset that they feel like Pokemon Let's Go isn't for them, even though the gameplay, the developers, everything about it just kind of proves that wrong. Junichi Masuda has said that this is a Pokemon game for all fans, and that has been proven over and over again. It's going to be massively competitive, there's going to be a huge post-game, and then your adventure throughout the way is for everyone that has played Pokemon, or everyone that's interested in Pokemon. Pokemon Go fans, this game doesn't cater to one audience more than the other. So yeah, we'd mentioned the catch combo mechanic. You catch same Pokemon multiple times in a row to get various rewards and benefits. So also still pretty vague and obscure on the benefits, but kind of showing that stacks with all the other things that we're learning about. Another thing that came from the 2-hour gameplay demos is the lure module, and now we're learning about that. But that's the problem, like, it's on the Pokemon website, and it's just this long article. So unless you want to go and read through like 30 paragraphs of information, most of it which you already know about because it's kind of trying to attract new people that aren't as familiar with Pokemon Go, just to skim the little bits of information that's new instead of just straight up getting in a trailer, then yeah, that kind of is going to create some problems, because I'm going to do a video like this. I'm going to talk about the information, but since there wasn't a trailer, since it's not being picked up by larger news sites, just people aren't going to feel that like mob mentality. There isn't going to be a crowd support behind it, and also because of all the clickbait from other PokeTubers and stuff, a lot of dishonesty, a lot of lies out there, so people have just been fed nonsense so much that even when there's real information out there, they don't believe it, because like, well, I didn't see Pokemon tweet about it, I didn't see the video, and I don't know if this is real or not. So even though it's on the official website, like this is really scattered and this is really bad. I feel like the Pokemon YouTube channel is like months behind. They should be like 3 trailers ahead of where they are. They should have a lot more information because it's out there. There's a lot of awesome stuff to talk about in the games, but it's just not easily discoverable. It's either through third-party interviews or it's buried on a website, and you still have to like dig through it to get that little nugget, that like half sentence of, oh, that's actually pretty cool. So we have lures. Perhaps more practical is the lure, a new item that follows the spirit of Pokemon Go of the same name. Draws out rare Pokemon, making them more likely to appear. Now this was a blurb that we had on Cerebi. Buying lures from Pokemart seems like a great investment, and we're eager to see what other items appear deeper in the Kanto region. That's what gets me excited, because it doesn't just end at lures. It doesn't just end at the berries that we know about. It goes a lot deeper. That's what we see about all these mechanics. That's why I love Pokemon Let's Go. That just on the surface, from everything I've seen, I already love it, and I know that there's going to be more involved that's going to make it even better. So it takes all of this customization. It takes all of this competitive nature. It takes all of these really cool free-form elements inside of a true Pokemon experience, a true Pokemon adventure, and it's just going to get deeper as we get more information. But we need that information now so people can get excited about that, which brings me to my thought, raids. What about other items? You know, we're eager to see what other items appear. Well, what else is left in Pokemon Go? Eggs have already been, like, deconfirmed. You know, there's no eggs, there's no breeding. Like, I thought it'd be cool if maybe there was a way of, like, just obtaining eggs from random people, or, like, some kind of method of getting an egg, and then as you walk, you hatch it, and it just isn't going to be breeding-based. But there's none of that. None of that is going to be in the games, but if there's going to be more items, then what about raids? Now, raids would be pretty cool, because that could also be a way of maybe like kind of accelerating that competitive pace. That you can use a raid pass, or you can maybe try to get into a special encounter that turns into a Pokemon battle, and this is what people want. And maybe that's why we haven't seen it, because Game Freak could easily, at the snap of a finger, just be like, hey, we can make it toggle that you can either go Pokemon Go style catching, or you can just battle Pokemon and play traditionally. But maybe we haven't seen that be announced, because that's where raids come into play. That you can do certain things to get those battles, and they're going to be tougher battles. They're going to be encounters that are actually worth it, which actually would make a lot of sense. That would be better than what we have in Pokemon Sun and Moon. In the other main series Pokemon games, reminder, Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee, they are main series games. That's why I use the words other, or the word other. But how cool would that be? Because I feel like Pokemon catching has become very trivialized just over the course of time. It's like Quick Ball. You just throw a Quick Ball at everything, and then half the Pokemon in the game are going to have like a 100% catch rate from there. Other than that, you just false swipe it with a low 100 Pokemon down to 1 hit point, you throw an Ultra Ball, and there's no challenge behind it anymore. And then when it comes to Legendary Pokemon, it's kind of the same thing. You paralyze it, you drop it down to 1 health, and then you throw like 50 Pokeballs at it until you eventually catch it. There's not really too much excitement about that. Pokemon Go, they don't have any Pokemon battling until raids were introduced. So I mean, even if like people are saying, oh, this is just a baby kids game that's Pokemon Go 2.0, which is completely false and completely debunked at this point. But even if we're looking at that mentality, that means raids are going to be inside of Let's Go, or at least very likely be inside of Let's Go, which means there is still going to be some form of challenging Pokemon battle, and then that could be very rewarding in its own way, with better experience, maybe a higher chance of having a shiny, higher chance of having perfect IVs, or like very competitive stuff, more candy rewards, really cool stuff like that. So you can maybe do special things to get a raid pass, use it in a specific place, and then have a chance of having like a raid Pokemon spawn, or maybe it's kind of like a lure. You activate it, and there's a chance that Pokemon will battle battle you or something. I think that'd be pretty cool, and it would make sense as to why we haven't seen any other features about Pokemon battles, because you can battle legendary Pokemon. I think that's where the EX Raid Pass could maybe come into play, that you spend like 100,000 Pokédollars, or maybe even more than that, like 1,000,000 Pokédollars, and then you get the opportunity to use a Raid Pass and then recatch legendary Pokemon, because you can spam legendary Pokemon, and it doesn't really make sense to only be able to capture one of them in Pokemon Let's Go, because it's so easy to catch multiple legendary Pokemon. You get a community event, you just go through all of the challenges, you have like a raid event with the EX Raid Passes going on and stuff, and people just have dozens of Lugia, dozens of Mewtwo, and stuff like that. So being able to bring in multiple from an easier way of obtaining them in Pokemon Go, or the people that have already stockpiled dozens of legendary Pokemon Go, and then flooding that in Pokemon Let's Go, they should be able to give players that same edge, the same ability to grind and get multiple legendaries for Pokemon Let's Go. I think that could be pretty cool, and that would just kind of work in with the passes as well, because we've already seen legendary battles. A lot of Pokemon battles are confirmed inside of Let's Go through some legendary encounters, but then mixing that in with raids, it just makes sense, and that would be kind of what everyone wants. Problem is, like, where is this information? I feel like we should know more about the games. Like, the lore should be announced by this point. We should know more about some of the other items that are going to be in the post game. We should take a look inside the Pokemart, because Pokeballs are actually 100 Pokedollars, or yeah, 100 Pokedollars each. So they're less expensive, which means there's less of a risk of running out of money, which is already an impossibility just from how the game is built anyways. Like, unless you just throw away all like 300 Pokeballs or something, you're gonna be just fine, and you have to spend all your money and stuff. So there's no way of getting trapped inside this game. So I really think there needs to be more of those peace of mind kind of announcements, that, if there was a thing, it's like, battle stronger Pokemon through raids or something, then like, oh wait, I get to battle wild Pokemon again, and then you can see the other items or lures, and then also maybe learning about how the catch combo works. We should have had catch combo maybe earlier this month as a trailer to get people excited for some of the things that are possible, but now with less than a month till games, I don't know how many trailers it's going to be. I don't know how much information is going to be in it, because we're getting far less in Pokemon Sun and Moon, and that's a worry, and that's also something I find very problematic, that people were crying and complaining nonstop, like, we're getting too much information about Pokemon Sun and Moon, and now that we're actually giving the people what they want. Like, that's a sad thing. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee is giving Pokemon fans exactly what they want. Pokemon following you, overworld Pokemon encounters, all of these, like Pokemon Go you could play at home. The reason why spoofing is such a big problem is that people have been wanting to play Pokemon Go at home for so long. Now that we have something similar to that, while mixing it in with a main series Pokemon game and giving you a more traditional experience, which is also what people have wanted, it's just non-stop complaints. So like that's what kind of blows my mind. A 3D Kanto with updated graphics. Like we've seen so much of this, and then Game Freak also gives people what they want in the form of not giving them too much news, and then everyone still complains about it. So I find that really upsetting. And then we can go into some of the last bits of information. Trainers dedicated to exploring each nook and cranny of Kanto will be rewarded with tons of little flourishes. So nothing showing that, this is for all Pokemon fans. Has the nostalgia. It brings it back. It pays a lot of attention, For one example, players' bedroom features a throwback to the opening of the original RPGs. That's kind of cool. What was once a bicycle shop now features some strange vanity shots of bicycles. Pewter City Museum has a poster about the creation of the universe that wouldn't be out of place in a real-life classroom. Speaking of the museum, it's very much worth the price of entry this time. What does that mean? Be sure to check out the giant Kabutops and Aerodactyl fossils. What does that mean? Does that mean we get like candies or something? Like, how's that going to work? I want to know. So I mean, there is still going to be intrigue, and there is still going to be upgrades to Kanto, which is going to make it better. Digging past Kanto's new coat of paint reveals a mix of similarities and differences from the original titles. Area layouts tend to be mostly the same as in the past games. Few buildings to move slightly to adjust for modern, more fully realized graphics on Nintendo Switch. TMs can be used multiple times. At least have a blurb on the Let's Go website as people are skimming through it that they also see TMs can be used multiple times. Some people are worried that we're just going full reset into Gen 1, even though, again, absolutely nothing supports that. It's just like, people are being, like, I think Nintendo is underestimating idiocy. The Nintendo's like, hey, we put out all this information. Everyone just, like, is 100% going to believe it and understand it, right? Well, no, since it is so divisive that people choose to ignore the facts just to camp their hate, and then they will refuse to see the facts. Like, the thing that blows my mind is recently, I've been seeing a lot of people saying that there's only 3 stats inside of Pokemon Let's Go. I don't know who made a stupid video or like where that came from, but all of a sudden like just the comments blew up about it, and it's like, no, we actually have the stat hexagon in the website in multiple trailers showing you that all of the stats are available inside the game, but people are just that convinced that it's more like Pokemon Go, even though the game's like 5 to 10% Pokemon Go maybe, and then the rest of it is just going to be a main series Pokemon adventure. But then that's like every other Pokemon game that has mixed things up. Pokemon Sun and Moon, still a main series game, despite replacing gyms. So we have like all these other changes, just fine. The trainers roam in Kanto are a mix of old and new. Many have brand new dialogue, rosters of Pokemon, including those that give hints about Bulbasaur's presence. I like this because it also gives that more dynamicness to the world. You want to talk to people. You want to learn about that secret, that rare Pokemon, the thing you don't expect in the area. And I think that's cool because they're saying it's the same old Kanto, but it's got a new coat of paint. There's also a lot of changes that you might not be expecting. They're talking about like, hey, Bulbasaur didn't appear in Viridian Forest. A lot of these other Pokemon, they've kind of switched it up. So that's what I'm excited for. I'm excited for how new everything is. And it's just so sad that people refuse to accept this, but it's also really sad that Nintendo isn't forcing this information down people's throats, and they're just kind of letting the ignorance go wild, which is severely hurting these games. And then that's also hurting performance of videos like these, because like I said earlier, the lies and desperation from the rest of the PokeTubing community has kind of made it to where no one is really interested in Pokemon. There's a lot of distrust right now, and even the really cool things, well, it's mob mentality. It's on the bandwagon. Everyone's on the hate bandwagon. They're not going to hop off because of peer pressure, just no matter how good these games look, until the games are actually out, everything happens, and then the information is completely unavoidable. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.